Howdy from Arlington, Texas, y'all. I hope this video finds you healthy and well. So it looks like I took a look. I haven't done a Mail Call Monday video since early May, and even I'm shocked by this. I think I've done a couple small mail days, but not this. So part of it's been that I just haven't been that into making videos. As if you watch my videos, you've probably heard me say. And another thing is I just really haven't purchased much. But when you don't do a video since the beginning of May, it can eventually add up. So this will be a slightly longer video than probably I would have intended on it being, just to go through some stuff, because I don't just show it, I try to talk about it a little bit too, some of it at least. So we'll start off with a card that I bought off Twitter one night late. I don't think I was completely sober at that point, but for $2 I bought this Ronald Acuna relic card. Not even sure, it's just player worn of some sort, but literally was $2 shipped, so I figured I could just throw that into when I finally start setting up at shows again, could throw it into a box there. So the second thing I'm going to show is a Care PWE from my friend Val. He's NASCAR Radio on Twitter, and he's Racing Card Info on YouTube, and I'll link to that below. So the card is a 1970 Fleer drag strips, Ken Miles and Lloyd Ruby's car. So obviously not even 100% sure. I could probably look at that a little bit better. That might actually be Lloyd Ruby driving that. I hadn't looked at it until now, but you can see driver's face in there mildly. Do I have this light on this thing? I do not. So anyway, this is super cool for me. Between Beckett and Trading Card Database, I only see 5 cards that Lloyd Ruby was on. And he is somewhat local. He's from Wichita Falls, I believe. Born, raised, died. Wichita Falls, Texas, which is up the road about 2 hours from here, up on the Oklahoma border. So I'm going to take this. I'm just quoting this from Wikipedia. Always there, sometimes accurate. So he was an American race car driver who raced in the USAC Championship Car Series for 20 years, achieving 7 victories and 88 top 10 finishes. He also had success in endurance racing, when winning the 24 Hours of Daytona twice, the 1966 12 Hours of Sebring, and the 1966 World Sports Car Championship. And I think this card may be from the 1966 race, where they did drive the 1998, the 1966, 24 Hours of Daytona. They drove the number 98 that year, but the year prior, they drove the number 73. So obviously we can see the car number there. But just a little bit more on Lloyd Ruby. He raced in the USAC Champ Car Series from the 58 to 77 seasons. We talk about 177 starts, including the Indianapolis 500 from 1960 to 77. He had 88 top 10s and 7 victories. His best finish at Indy was 3rd in 1964. In 1966, he led the Indy 500 for 68 laps. Despite a championship car replete with success, Ruby is probably best remembered for his many misfortunes at the Indianapolis 500. His biography, written by Ted Buss in 2000, was titled Lloyd Ruby, the Greatest Driver to Never Win the Indy 500. He led the race 5 different years for a total of 126 laps. However, his best finish was 3rd in 1964. His only other top 5 finish at Indy came in 1968. And then in 1991, he was inducted into the Auto Racing Hall of Fame. So that is a super cool card. He only has 2 driver era cards. The other one is a Marhofer card, and I actually have that, and I know that I showed that off at some point way back in the day. I'll have to get them together at some point. It's kind of hard to do a showcase of 5 cards, but I do think I have all 5 of those cards. So moving on from vintage, what you would consider open wheel, to modern NASCAR. I've really been trying to get into NASCAR, but I haven't had much luck. I think I'm really just more into the good old days when I watched it, back in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, I've having trouble finding a driver to pull for, and I think that hurts. But I am, I guess, kind of pulling for, as much as I watch, this guy, Chris Buescher. So this is a National Treasures triple relic card. Guessing that is fire suit, tire, sheet metal. Yeah, it doesn't actually. It just says race used material and autograph. But he's from Prosper, which is about an hour from here, up north Dallas. But yeah, so I just decided to try to follow him, but I bought these and I've still had trouble. Just haven't been able to get that interested in NASCAR. But these are the first 2 National Treasures cards I've owned of any sport at all. I just, the guys I've collected and how I've collected, they just haven't been anything I've been actively searching for, and obviously the prices are usually pretty high. I got those from the Nuts group, and David really took care of me. I actually bought some more cards from him later on that you're going to see here. So Colby, he's Flywheels on Twitter. I don't know if any of you are on Twitter and you follow him. He messaged me one day and said, hey, I have a Dale Earnhardt I think you might be interested in, and I'm going to leave his link below. So I agreed to purchase one of these and then just asked him what he wanted for the second one, and he gave me a deal that I was quite happy with. But these are not your typical card. These are actually made of polished aluminum per Beckett. But they are quite heavy. They kind of remind me of I think it was Leaf Preferred Steel baseball in maybe like 96 or 97. According to Beckett, the cards were produced as a promotional advertising for Gant Oil Company. The cards could be purchased for $8 when you bought gas at one of the participating Gant oil stations throughout North Carolina. There was one driver available every month over the course of the 10-month-long NASCAR season, which is February through November. Each card has a production serial number and is made of polished aluminum. And the serial number, I'm not sure if it's going to focus. There we go. 5486. And what is this? 5479. Doesn't seem like it's zooming, but that's okay. Oh, there we go. So what I find interesting by that is that Beckett says these are limited to 6,000, which both of these numbers are under 6,000, but on the back it says they're limited to 7,500. So not sure which way it actually goes. What it is, but it is what it is. So this next group I bought in the Nuts group on Facebook as well, which is a NASCAR card trading group. Gentleman had a lot of autographs that he had gotten over the years. Non-certified, but context clues, I feel pretty good about them. So Dick Trickle, rest peacefully, sir. Dick Trickle was, an absolute legend, maybe one of the best short track drivers ever in the upper Midwest. And in the late 90s, I want to say 98, he is the oldest driver to have won a Busch Series race. He was 57 years old at the time. This card was from 91, so this was a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, it was just one of those guys that came along later, and you're going to see another one of those mentioned later. Paul Andrews, some of you guys that know NASCAR, you'll know these names. Some of you that don't have probably already turned it off. The reason I got this one was he was a... the reason I went ahead and got the Dick Trickle one was because he did pass away in 2013. So for the price, I was happy to just go ahead and get an autograph of his. Paul Andrews was my favorite driver. Was Jeremy Mayfield there in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he was his crew chief for a few years. Jack Arute, I think I've mentioned on the channel, I have a TV, radio, and broadcasting degree. TV and radio broadcasting degree. Wanted to be in sports, so I've always just sports announcers, those are the guys I say are sometimes the voices of my youth. And Jack Arute, NASCAR, IndyCar, college sports. He was on the Sirius XM college station for a while, and when they took his show off, I actually got rid of Sirius because I was so pissed off. But yeah, so he's one of the voices of my youth. Wally Dallenbach later was a driver, but Wally Dallenbach Jr., I should say, later became an announcer, so that's why I wanted that. Richard Childress, who fielded Dale Earnhardt's cars and was basically his best friend for the last good portion of his career. Ken Squire, another announcer. Eli Gold, announcer. Detecting a trend here. Peter Suspenzo was actually a Jeremy Mayfield crew chief as well later. I looked at the back of this card and I found it interesting. I heard Humpy Wheeler once ask Peter whether he would like to be a world-famous crew chief or just an average driver, which is what Peter chose. That tells you something about the desire he's got to get behind the wheel. Well, I think he probably had more success as a crew chief than he did as a driver. Tommy Kendall, legendary Trans Am road racing driver, definitely ran in NASCAR some, was one of the ringers, as they would call them, road race ringers. Winston Kelly was part of MRN, I think still may be. When I first got into NASCAR the first few years, I didn't have cable growing up, so I listened to him on the radio, and Winston Kelly was one of the pit reporters, one of the voices I know. I later had a quote-unquote opportunity to work with him, as he is now the director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and let me tell you, it was not pleasant. What he thought the product in a gift shop should be versus what we thought it should be was completely different. He wanted his gift shop to be a museum. He wanted to have all this stuff there. He didn't care if it sold. Well, that's not how you operate business. They're a tough guy. Rodney Combs, I picked that up. He is actually from West Virginia. I think he was from about an hour south of where I grew up, if I remember correctly. So I just thought that was a cool little one to grab. Jeff Hammond, who championship crew chief, I believe, but also TV personality later on. Mike Joy, I love the TNN inscription. The gentleman had different Mike Joys available, but I wanted that TNN. What's his first name? Jim Phillips. Jim Phillips, another MRN, as you can see right there, radio, and he did the little MRN inscription. I love that. Kyle Petty, it's a great signature. Dick Berggren, announcer. Randy LaJoie, who when I first got into NASCAR was dominating the Busch Series, won back-to-back championships, which is the Busch Series is the second level series. I think it's called, I don't even know what it's called now. It shows you how much attention I'm being able to pay to the modern thing. And Ted Musgrave, I loved him when he drove the 16 Family Channel car with Jack Roush. So I saw that and just decided to pick that bad boy up. All right. There is some stuff other than racing in here, I promise. So, I'm not sure if anybody's even going to continue watching to this point. Where are we at? 13 minutes? I'm actually doing probably a little better than I thought I would. Get this from Sport Lots Auctions. The gentleman had two of them. He had another one numbered out of, I think, 50. I got this one. It's 57 out of 99. This one had ended, and I got it delivered. Had great shipping, too. I mean, it's in a screw down. Dude literally shipped it in like a 100 count or a 200 count box is how he shipped it to me. But race used fire suits from Chocolate Myers, who was Dale Earnhardt's legendary gas man, and Dale Earnhardt himself. Oh, nothing really to see there. But heard a great story about Chocolate Myers the other day listening to podcasts on YouTube. After Ernie Irvan wrecked during practice, I don't remember where it was, but he had to be taken to the hospital, and the crew went to the hospital. I mean, it was just, it looked bad. And I just dropped cards. He, unsolicited, he and the rest of the crew, he was the ringleader. They went got Ernie Irvin's backup car out of the hauler and got it all set up and ready to pass inspection without being asked by the Childress team so that they could get the car back on the track. Obviously, it was going to be with another driver. Ernie Irvin had a long recovery, but it was just really cool to see how competitors were actually willing to help each other. So the next group, I mentioned these Chris Buescher autographs and that I had gotten more stuff from him. So here's some more of that. More racing, though. Dave Blaney. Was always a Dave Blaney fan because his brother actually played basketball at WVU. Signed with the Lakers, I think maybe played a year or two, but decided he didn't want to play pro basketball and he wanted to go racing. So he went, and his brother is a legendary World of Outlaws driver, but Dale. And so I've always been a fan of Dave Blaney. So we got here Brett Bodine. Brett Bodine won one race in his career, and it was a race that he actually didn't win. It's believed that Darrell Waltrip won it, but there was a timing and scoring error, and I think I read that like they were under caution for like 15 laps trying to figure it out, and that ended up being Bodine's only career win. And then come to find out later, Darrell Waltrip, he's tied on the all-times wins list, so he could have just had one more win. He could have jumped ahead. So speaking of Darrell Waltrip, his brother Michael. I kind of like this lot. This was a lot. These are just guys that I remember from when I was a kid. Harry Gant, the oldest driver to notch their first career win. He was already into his 40s. Like I mentioned about Dick Trickle, he was a legendary short track driver and didn't come to NASCAR until later in his late 30s. But good old handsome Harry was the oldest winner, or the oldest driver to get his first Cup win. He's the oldest driver to get a Winston Cup Series win. And he had, I think, 11 second-place finishes before he ever got his first. He's just got a lot of random records, and they all kind of revolve around the fact that he was just a little bit older, than the typical driver when he got up there. Derek Cope, this was just, like I said, this was part of the lot, but he did win the Daytona 500 in early 90s at some point. I think that, and it was not an expected win. It was one of the random ones. Ray Evernham, I picked this up separate because he was Jeremy Mayfield's car owner, so just kind of a way to add to the Mayfield thing. I always liked Brian Vickers when he was driving for Red Bull Racing, and even later I admired that he, who the hell was it? He knocked somebody out of his way to get his first win. Talladega. Now I can't remember who it was, and from that minute, I think it might have been Earnhardt Jr., just knocked him out of the way. But he had my respect after that. Kenny Wallace, loved him when he drove the Square D car, which is pictured there. And then, of course, he's done a lot of, being an analyst, etc. since then. But, yeah, just for fun. It's a NASCAR card, but I picked this up. Patrick Carpentier actually ran the Indianapolis 500. I'm not even sure how many times, but this will go for my Indy 500 autograph collection because I don't believe I had one of him. John Andretti, I think I had some of his autographs. John Andretti passed away earlier this year after a long fight with cancer. Rest peacefully, good sir. But yeah, this is for my Indy 500 autograph collection. And then the last NASCAR one that is actually for my IndyCar collection. I think this is my first Juan Pablo Montoya autograph. I might have a hero card autographed by him, an IndyCar one, but that would be the only other thing I possibly have. So pretty excited to have that. So those were all from David, and so were these, and these were the ones I dropped. So let's get these. This was the big part. So this is a race-used sheet metal card. This is from the 2008 Press Pass Legends. The card on the back says it's from the 89 championship, but he won it in 90. He didn't win it in 1989. But I do believe this is from the 89 race 3 of the IROC series because he drove the number 3 pink car, and you can see the pink up there. His colors for the other 2 races were white and dark orange. They would change colors based on where they had finished the previous race, so they did not have consistent car colors. But he never drove the pink car in his 1990 championship season, so I think this is from 1989. race 3. So I've got some notes on these, and I dropped them, so I got them slightly out of order. So this is the next one. This is serial number. This is number 134 out of 180. It says it's from his 95 IROC championship season. It's a race-used fire suit, and he did win 2 of the 4 races that year. So don't know much else about it that you can say. But again, IROC, I'm assuming it's from an IROC because that's all the reference on there, and then the picture is from the IROC series. Race-used fire suit, number 6 of 180. And then according to the card, this was worn in 2000, his final full season. He passed away from injuries sustained in the 2001 Daytona 500, which is the first race of the year. So yeah, it doesn't say anything about IROC, and he's pictured in his Cup fire suit, so leaves me to assume it was worn in Cup races. 58 to 99. This is a race-used tire. This is something that you're going to find. You find a lot more of the race-used tire cards. And it just said, according to it, it just says it was run in 2000. It would be awesome if they were able to pinpoint it better, but you know, it is what it is. And then another race-used tire card, number 80 out of 199, and it says it was also used in 2000. Who knows? It may be from the same damn tire. So this card looks like the rest, but this was actually an eBay purchase that I got on its own. But it's interesting because the sheet metal is a pink. So it kind of goes back to the one you saw earlier. The card on the back, you know, it says it's from the 1989 championship, but he didn't win that year. He won in 1990, and I think this is from that same one, 1989 race 3, where he drove the number 3 car that was pink. They are serial numbered differently, so I'm assuming just because this is a lower serial number is why you've got like 2 colors of sheet metal. I don't know if the gray was a sponsor deal. I may actually look into that at some point, try and see what I can find from that car, or if it was a number or what was going on there. So we're almost finished, guys. The next thing, so I actually showed, I had gotten a set, I had ordered this and another set off of someone. So Korean baseball, they do have card sets, but they will not show the foreign players. So this is a custom, you know, air quote set that was put together that has some of the former American players, or North American, non-Korean players, I should say, because I'm not sure where this gentleman's from, but that name, yeah, from the Dominican Republic. I had gotten this set, and I think he just wasn't happy with how they came out for some reason. So Michael Choice was one of the reasons I bought this. He played at University of Texas Arlington, which is just, I can be there in 10 minutes living in Arlington. And then the real reason I purchased it was, I think it may be toward the end. Nope. Looks like he's number 18. I saw his name. Dustin Nippert. He pitched at West Virginia and then pitched for the Diamondbacks, pitched for the Rangers. You'll see some more of him in some upcoming videos because I'm actually getting more organized and putting more time into my personal player collections, and he's one of those guys that I have a decent amount of cards of. So speaking of player collections, I spent some time last weekend and over the last week trying to get more into that player collection. The guy that I played in the 90s was Russ Davis. So I went through and put all of them in an a Z folio, sorry. I went through and looked for what I needed, etc., and made a couple of purchases. So this I got on eBay. This is a 1990 Carolina League All-Stars. It's the earliest card of his that I know of that I still needed, and I now have all 7 of his cards from his first 3 seasons. So pretty excited to have that, and that will be going in the binder shortly. And then one other that I got off Sport Lots. I have a lot of stuff at Sport Lots sent to my box, but this was the same price to ship it to my box or to ship it home. He didn't offer any box savings, so I just had it sent home. I think I paid less than $1 even delivered for it. But this is the 2001 MLB Showdown Pennant Run of Russ Davis. And this is unique card number 226. And according to Trading Card Database, there are 319 cards. There probably are more, because that's not the most complete always. But for now, I'm at 226 of 319, which is 70.8% complete. And you'll be seeing more of his stuff down the road. Recently, I mentioned my buddy Wes, who calls himself the Pancake King. He'll send these cards. I got stacked by the Pancake King, and he sent me a Karan White WVU autograph from Hit. So that will go into the collection. And then one last thing, I got a box of cards from my friend Jason. It was some stuff I had bought, some stuff that he just gifted me, I believe. I don't believe I bought this, but a Guy Carbonneau Stars autograph, so that'll go into my wife's Stars binder. So I think I bought these. Let's see what we got here. We got a Zaire Smith Prism Rookie Silver, a Bruce Brown Prism Rookie Silver. I think he just had good prices on those, so I got him. A Dirk Nowitzki. I got this Carlos Rogers Auburn card numbered out of 50 for my cousin for his collection. Chris Paddock Pink Refractor. I think I bought these off of him damn near a year ago, and we hadn't shipped stuff to each other until recently. I shipped him a couple of boxes, and he shipped me what he had for me. So it was kind of like Christmas, because like I said, I just wasn't prepared. I guess I bought a Reese Hoskins Bowman Chrome first. Eloy Pink Refractor. Oh, there's another guy from my player collection. I don't think I bought that one. I think he just sent that to me. Same with the Will Clark. Barry Larkin Elite. That is actually the first Elite card I have ever owned. Even though I've been collecting since 1987 nonstop, I never have owned an Elite card. Traded him something for this Trae Young Prism Rookie. It's not a silver, but that's okay. And from a Charles Barkley Prism Run from last year's set, Pink Cracked Ice, maybe? Pink Cracked Ice? Something like that. What else we got in here? We got a little case of goodies. I did look through this, so I think this is all just stuff he had set aside for me. Will Clark was my favorite player for a while. I don't really actively work on his player collection, but I just keep acquiring stuff. And a lot of them come from Jason. He had done a custom for former WVU head basketball coach Gail Catlett and had those signed. I actually graduated with Gail Catlett's daughter. We went to school together for 6 years. Tyler Harrow Pink. Barkley. Darius Raynaud. Go Mountaineers. Jerry Porter Rookie. Allen Iverson. Green Prism. Canute Curtis autograph. I think I knew that was coming, maybe. I loved his, this dude was a sack master at West Virginia. I remember the old phrase they used, help control the quarterback population. Have your quarterback spayed or canutered. Yeah, it's West Virginia. What do you want from me? Will Clark. Ryan Klesko. Sentimental. Barkley. Clark. Thrill. Klesko. Barkley. And Will Clark. Alright. I know there's some other good stuff in here, guys. Bear with me. I don't think I expected this. I think this was a throw-in. 1990 Topps Baseball Rack Pack. Junk Wax era. Good times. Okay, let's set that there. All right. Looks like I got two 400 count boxes, but I think I know what's in these. I think it's mostly packs, so it shouldn't take too long. Yep. So I think I am going to, for this Throwback Thursday, going to open some of this. So he had found a box of the 90-91 is what it is. Fleer basketball, and this was a while ago. This was a year, more than a year maybe. He found a box. He just wanted one pack and sold me the rest of the box, so I don't have the box. I just have the packs. But we'll definitely open these at some point down the road for a Throwback Thursday. And the other thing he found for me months ago by random and bought for me, and well, bought it and I paid him. 2018-19 Chronicles Blaster. And I am excited about this. I did not open it. I was not doing had any interest in basketball this time last year. So I have never opened anything to potentially get a Trae Young or a Luka Doncic. I have no idea what's available in here. But this is going to get opened soon. I wonder what these are going for online. I should have looked that up before I made the video, but I didn't. Anyway, we're past 30 minutes, so that was my Monday mail call. I will try to not have so much by the next time I do a video. I'll try to do these much more regularly so that y'all don't have to sit through these as long. Anyway, happy collecting, y'all, and I will see you down the road.